Hell yeah.
We're going to do hip airplane today. So all the foundations of our quad pod foot, our single leg stand stability where we fight to keep the weight centered in the foot apply here, but now we're adding more variables to see, can we keep that stability? And can we keep the movement from just the hip, not the back or anywhere else, at the same time? So this is actually a really complicated pose that I need you to have every ounce of focus when you're doing this, okay? So first, you're going to find a solid base of support on one foot, feeling the weight distributed evenly, and you're going to fight to keep this, okay? Then I like to put my hands around my waist so that the thumbs are in the back and the fingers are around the front, so that when I breathe into my belly, I can check in on myself. Did it really go into my belly, my sides, and my back, which is what I mean when I say belly breathe. It's really 360 degrees of breathing. You can check in on yourself, did that happen? Because if it didn't, it's way more likely that you're going to be moving from your spine instead of from your hip, and this is a hip stabilization exercise, and we want to be able to move our spine and move our hip separately, but not together every single time, because that's how we start to wear out our back. Because our back doesn't have the big butt, our back isn't a huge ball and socket joint, and it's not made to move every single time the hip moves, okay? So, the pelvis is parallel to the floor, which basically means you can imagine the waistband line on your pants is parallel to the floor. The diaphragm is parallel to the floor. The roof of your mouth is parallel to the floor. You have stability on the leg. The hands are going to come onto the sides. You're going to breathe into your belly, and then you're going to let yourself tilt forward. I like to have a gentle bend in my knee because my knee is hyperextended. So you do what you need to do there to keep the weight centered right over the foot. The leg is going to come back behind you. I am in no way concerned about how high it's lifted. It's just about getting yourself down to where your torso is about parallel to the floor, and still your diaphragm and your pelvis are parallel to each other. And I am going to turn the other way in a moment. I just want you to see it from this way for a moment. So I'm fighting for the weight to stay centered on my foot this entire time, and the only motion is going to come right here from my hip. The hip opens out to the side. I'm fighting to keep the weight centered as I do that, and then I continue to fight to keep the weight centered as I bring the hip back down and to neutral and a little bit further down with that opposite hip, which is going to work the glute med on the other side a lot. So one more time over here, I'm going to show you with the breath. Do you see how my weight is staying centered right over the foot? I'm using my breath to make stability here so that the only thing that's moving is my hip.